One thing the Europeans might be able to do without the Americans is a peacekeeping force. But this week, a former head of the army told the BBC that our forces here in the UK have been hollowed out. Does the UK have the troops, have the numbers to support Ukraine if it comes to a peacekeeping force along that massive front line, which is about 1,000 miles?
It would be a huge task, wouldn't it? I mean, first of all, we've always said we'll play our part in any process. It's hypothetical at the minute without a deal on the table. I don't shy away from the fact that if you look at the state of the armed forces in the UK after the 14 years of the last government, like many public services, they are not in a good condition. I don't think we should downplay the tremendous capacities that we do have, but we'll have to make sure that our armed forces are ready to face a whole range of threats in the future, which at present I think we'd all recognise there's a lot more to do on. Let's
talk about defence spending. It's also top of the agenda along with all the other things we've discussed. Your government says it's committed to eventually spending 2.5% of GDP on defence. This week, again, US Defence Secretary said the US is no longer primarily focused on European security. When are you actually going to hit the 2.5% target? Well, we'll set out the roadmap for that in the spending review. We've always made that commitment. I did have a substantial increase in defence spending in the last budget, £3 billion. We had the biggest pay rise for the armed forces in 20 years. Absolutely essential to tackling the recruitment of people into the armed forces themselves. You're going to publish a roadmap? Yes. A roadmap. So can you give us any indication of when to the spending review for that? But do you not think it's a bit more urgent? Well, I think you have to do these things in relation to the other incredible pressures you have on public services and the health of the economy. But the need to generate the revenue is why we are so focused on addressing some of the difficult things the UK has avoided for a long period of time, to get the revenue in order to do that. But I would also say the strategic defence review is a key part of this as well. There are countries that actually spend sometimes less than us and have greater capabilities. So yes, how much you're putting in is important, what you're spending it on. And for me, the defence sector, which plays a key role in our economy, it's part of our industrial strategy, making sure we've got the industrial base for this right is an important priority as well. But I mean, you can't even say we'll get to 2.5% even in this Parliament. We're just going to get a roadmap. Well, I can't say we've only ever hit that kind of defence spending under Labour governments. It is an integral thing to what we seek to deliver. Do you think we need to go further than 2.5%? Well, it's careful what you're covering in that. Sometimes the US criteria covers things like the security services, which we have a major contribution to. We don't actually count towards the targets in relation to that. So take the national security contribution overall, but everyone in the cabinet, everyone in the government, I think most people in this country recognise that the pressure we face on defence as we enter this difficult new era, and we're keen to meet that challenge.